Hey, welcome back to Dawson's Film Corner. I'm Dawson, and just a disclaimer here at the beginning. I got a comment the other day about my audio quality. I am in the works. I'm trying to get a microphone, so maybe that'll sound a little bit better. Just want to get that disclaimer out of the way. And also, uh, if y'all want to send recommendations for a movie I cover, feel free to comment a movie, and if I have it, I'll do my best to make a video on it. Certain movies I want to save for like holidays and stuff like that. But besides that, let's get into it today. And today we're talking about John Carpenter's The Thing. And I have the Scream Factory version. I got this secondhand. I didn't buy it. Well, I bought it, but I didn't order it or anything like that. I kind of wish I did because I'm sure it probably come with some stuff. But that's what the inside looks like. And it being a Scream Factory, it has reversible art. That's the new art that it come with. Oop. Well, I can't go back in there. This is another one of those movies where I need to replace the case on it because it's, well, just because it's a little beat up and then like it don't clip all the way when you close it. The bottom doesn't anyway. Sorry, I'm struggling here. I'm going to top up two, but the bottom one just hangs out. But anyway, I like the original poster art better, so that's why I have it turned to. But and to just start from the beginning, the movie opens with a husky being chased by a helicopter with two men on it. One man is shooting at the husky. We later find out those men are Norwegian, and they come into contact with our group that we're going to follow throughout the movie. And they have no idea what the Norwegians are saying, and one of the Norwegians end up shooting one of the Americans in the leg. I'll be honest, I don't remember half these characters' names. I remember Keith David's character's name, Charles, and Kurt Russell's character's name. So, kind of bear with me here. I may remember one or two other ones throughout, but sorry. But after this, they end up killing the Norwegians, and they take the dog in as one of their own. Just never hurts to have another dog. And then comes the mystery of why were the Norwegians trying to kill the dog, and in such a persistent manner, I guess you can call it. I mean, they're in a helicopter throwing grenades and shooting at this dog. I mean, so they decide to go to the Norwegians' base, which they've only been there about 8 weeks. I apologize if you hear my dog breathing and stuff. He's just kind of walking around making noise. Acting like he started the show, I guess. Anyway, McCready and Doc goes to the Norwegian base to check things out. They find a mess. They find where the thing was melted out of the ice. While they're at the Norwegian base, they come across a large mass of bodies, which is probably what the thing was before they got killed, or at least mostly killed. And they take it back to base with them, which I think is obviously is a bad horror movie idea, but these characters basically have no idea what happened, and they're scientists, so it could be the discovery of a lifetime. You know how it is, these horror movies. Well, it's John Carpenter movie, so I mean, it's good. But after examining that corpse, the dog this whole time has just been kind of free roaming the base. And there's a scene where you see the dog go in a room with somebody by themselves. You can't tell who it is. So, don't know if something to do with that dog or that, whatever it is. But anyway, they finally puts the dog into the cage with other dogs because it's just been free roaming. And almost immediately, the dog immediately turns into the thing. And practical effects just look amazing. I mean, this is one of those great creature feature movies. But the practical effects look amazing. And then the thing proceeds to kill several of the dogs in the crate. And then the dog handler's name, Charles? Or I can't remember his name. But the guy that takes care of the dogs comes back in there after hearing the noise and he sees it. And this is the iconic line in the movie for me. He goes to McCready comes running in there too with some of the others. And he goes to McCready and says, I don't know what's in there, but it's weird and it's pissed off. I just thought that's pretty funny. And it's just a good line in general. And something else I want to mention here. The soundtrack for this movie. It's nothing like, I guess you can call it iconic, like Halloween's or Friday the 13th soundtrack, but it is such a good soundtrack for this movie, in my opinion. It just fits the theme and the setting of the movie so well. The soundtrack's really good, and I really enjoyed it throughout the movie. But going back to our story, after they pull out the flamethrowers and kill the dog thing, and while they're cleaning things up and trying to fix the dogs that got hurt and things like that, the distrust starts forming. Trying to figure out who is alone with the dog and what this is and things of that nature. After the incident with the dogs, they have deciphered some of the Nord's documents saying that they found a UFO in ice. So they go visit the UFO and check it out, and they see where the Nords dug up the thing. Right after this, it's pretty much, they put the body, after they get back to base from finding a UFO and things, they start moving all the bodies into the storage room, from the Norwegians' bodies and the dogs' bodies and things of that nature. And Bennings, the reason I know his name because I got it wrote down because he's the first one. Bennings' character gets left alone in there with one of the bodies, and the body's not completely dead. So the thing takes over Bennings, which we find out very shortly after. Because he's seen walking outside and they all come out there to check on him. And he falls to his knees and he has these messed up looking arms and he just screeches. So they kill Bennings, burn him, and I think they, at that point, burn all the corpses, from what I remember. And then after that, Blair's not around for these parts. But they come back inside to Blair freaking out about it because he figured out he asked the computer basically how fast the thing could spread if it made it to society. And what's the percentage of population that'd be taken over. And he just starts losing and makes sure no one comes and finds them, makes sure they can't leave. He destroys their only mode of transportation to actually get out of there, which is the helicopter. He destroys the radios, the computer servers, everything. Everything he can get his hands on, he destroys. So they basically, I think they pretty much just shoot him up with morphine after they knock him out. And they lock him up in the tool shed by himself outside. And after this, he's supposedly gone for most of the movie until a little later on. After they lock up Blair into the tool shed, they have this large argument. And they go outside. And whoever the thing is has tore up some of McCready's clothes and shoved them up into his furnace, into his loft, or into his shack that he sits in. And the guy that cooked, the chef's name, I don't remember his name, but he finds it and he cuts the guidelines loose for Kurt Russell's character, McCready. He cuts the guidelines for McCready so McCready can't find his way back. And he runs back by himself, telling everyone. Then McCready manages to make his way in there through a window in the storage room. And he's holding a handful of dynamite, threatening to blow everybody up. Because he don't trust anybody now, because they think he's a thing. And he's basically holding them all with a gun at the same time. But at this point, after two of them try to knock him down, take the dynamite away from him, one of them falls over, and it seems like he dies. At this point, they've tied up the doc. I don't remember the other guy's name. It's the older guy that's basically been the leader up to this point. The dog wrangler tied up to this point. So they untie the dog and take the guy that seems like he's died into the medical room to try to resuscitate him. So Doc gets on top of him, with the electric paddles, hits him once, nothing happens. And the second time he goes to hit him, the guy's chest opens up into a mouth and bites Doc's arms off. And I don't know what to call that besides a chest mouth. I almost want to call it a chest burster, but it's not quite the same as the chest burster from Aliens. But anyway, so he begins to turn into the thing. He's screeching. There's a head and a neck coming out from the chest. Doc's died at this point, and the thing's head is coming off the body. And McCready puts it up in flames because he's standing there, making sure the others don't try to come jump him with a flamethrower. So he's lighting it up with a flamethrower, and the others are worried about burning down the base. And he makes them wait before putting out the fire, try to make sure it's dead. And they get the big one to die, but the head has come completely off and it's become its own thing. And I think I call it the head crab. It's kind of what it reminds me of. But they see it and they kill it with fire, like most things in this movie. And then after that's when they start doing the blood test, which is when McCready heats up a wire after taking people's blood and puts it in the blood and see how it reacts. That's when we find out another character is the thing. I don't remember his name either. But basically his head splits open, and he eats Copper. I think that's his name. Copper basically grabs him by the head and slings him around like a rag doll. They put those two down, because then at that point Copper has become the thing, or is starting to. So McCready puts both of them down, and they continue the blood test, and everybody else seems to be normal. So they go out there to go test Blair's blood, and the tool shed door is wide open. He's nowhere to be found. And they found loose boards in the floorboard. So 3 of the ones that are still normal go down there and check things out. Apparently Blair's been a thing this whole time and has been building a small spaceship under the ice, under the tool shed, out of parts from the helicopter he destroyed. So they blow it up with a grenade and they come back out and they find that Childs is now missing. So they assume he's a thing, and by that point they just start blowing up the base, because if the thing freezes, he can just come back when the rescue team comes in a couple months to try to find them. But if they keep it warm and can kill the thing, then he'll die. So while they're destroying the base, they go down to the basement to see about the generator, and it's completely destroyed. So they start rigging up dynamite all the way through the basement. So while they're lining up dynamite in the basement, the chef and the guy that was acting as the leader gets taken by Blair, who is now the thing, as I've mentioned. And McCready obviously figures that out. So he's slowly getting ready just to light the whole place up. The thing comes running under the floorboards and pops out in front of McCready. And McCready just basically says F that, and throws some dynamite and just beelines it out of the basement. And best you can tell, the thing's killed and explodes. The whole base pretty much explodes. And then we cut to McCready walking out of the base, covering in a blanket, just finding somewhere to sit till he freezes to death, basically. And then all of a sudden, Childs comes out of nowhere. We don't know if Childs is this thing or not. But he just comes out of nowhere and says he thought he saw Blair out in the snow. So he went after him and then got lost. So now he finally made his way back. And Child sits down in front of McCready, and they both sit there and share a bottle of whiskey. And the movie ends. So my thoughts on the ending, which is a lot of people's different theories, is that Childs is a thing, or McCready is a thing, or neither of them's a thing, or they're both a thing. I think I subscribe more to the idea that they're neither of them are the thing. Just because, I don't know, I just don't feel like either of them are a thing, because it don't seem super plausible, I guess, that Childs did go get lost in the snow, but that is a possibility because there is a snowstorm and you can't hardly see and things of that nature. I mean, yeah, so I don't know, that's just the one I like. The idea I like, that neither of them are the thing, but they distrust each other so much to this point that they can never know for sure, and they just let themselves die there. And there's no sequel, so. Or well, there is a sequel, but it's a remake and a prequel at the same time. So it's not really important to this story. My thoughts on the movie is I really like this movie. I think I give it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It is probably my favorite John Carpenter movie, right above Halloween, and probably one of my favorite horror movies, and one of my favorite movies in general. It's just up there. It's just such a good movie in general. If you've not ever seen it, definitely give it a watch. Even just streaming it will be worth it. The Blu-ray, the Scream Factory Blu-ray that I have, I like it. I've never really seen it in any other quality besides this here. So I don't know if there's a better version out there now. The 4K probably looks a decent bit better, I'm sure. I would just have to watch it and see. So I don't know. If you find a 4K, I would say it's probably worth just getting the 4K if you have the means of playing it over Blu-ray. But yeah, that's my thoughts and breakdown of it. Yeah, leave a comment of a movie you suggest me covering, and thanks. Y'all have a good one.